It's hard to avoid spotting a scooter downtown these days, but the city is taking action to regulate where they can go.
The 6-month pilot program is designed to create rules as more companies bring scooters into San Antonio.
Eyewitness News reporter Jeremy Baker breaks it down for us.
Every weekday, pretty much, if it's
probably,
not raining.
Probably close to 4 or 5 times a day.
Jesse and Robert love zipping around throughout their day, but they know what to look out for.
Pedestrians too, you gotta watch out for people, don't run anybody over.
The new city ordinance addresses that. Some of the rules include an age limit, allowing scootering for ages 16 and up, with helmets encouraged but not required, and people can only scoot on roads 35 miles per hour or slower. Scooting on sidewalks will still be allowed.
However, if you are on a sidewalk, you have to yield to pedestrians, and that means not only avoiding them, but also maintaining 2 feet clearance from them.
As for parking, scooters will be allowed on sidewalks as long as there is a 3-foot clearance for pedestrians. Riders would need to park set distances away from bus stops and building entrances, and blocking entryways would not be allowed.
No parking on curb ramps at intersections, things that would be a conflict for somebody in a wheelchair, for example.
Right now, 3 scooter companies operate in San Antonio. Bird has the largest number of scooters in town with 1,700. Lime has 850 throughout the city. And Blue Duck, the latest to arrive in San Antonio, has 453 scooters in the Alamo City. After the 6 months, the city will take a look at staff time and cost related to the program, violations, 311 calls and accident reports, usage and trip data, and stakeholder input from vendors and riders.
Really get a better understanding and idea of how they operate, how they're impacting the city, and then come back in 6 months with a revised recommendation.
The pilot program officially goes into effect next Friday. I'm Jeremy Baker for KENS 5 Eyewitness News.